Norman Graham is here from OTS Network. We're here at the office of candidate for mayor, John Catsimatidis. How are you, sir?
I'm well today, Norman. How are you?
Okay, how's the campaign going?
Well, we're getting worn out. We're working every night till almost midnight, and 7 days a week. There is no day off, so we got 25 days to go, and we just have to work hard.
Is it too much? It's grueling. I've been watching your schedule along with other candidates, and this schedule is really grueling these past 2 months.
Yeah, if you want to accomplish, you have to be willing to work hard. Otherwise, don't get into politics.
I would first like for you to lay out your platform. I express to you that I represent communities of color who feel disenfranchised, that they don't necessarily get an opportunity to have certain questions asked by the media, so I'm going to ask them for you.
Would you like one particular category first?
Whatever one you want. Tell us about your candidacy.
Safety in our streets.
Okay. Let's go.
I was in Harlem.
Born and raised.
About 6 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking to 125th Street, and we were talking about safety in our streets. And I had 3 or 4 Democratic candidates there, and I was the only Republican. And we started, and I was a little bit annoyed with our Democratic candidates because they were playing the violin to the audience and saying, well, we're going to get rid of Stop and Frisk. We're going to get rid of Ray Kelly. And I turned around to them and I said, well, what do you want to do? Turn this down to downtown Chicago? Then I had this other black woman stand up in the back of the audience and say, what are you doing here? I said, I grew up 10 blocks from here. I belong here just as well as anybody else.
Okay.
And I said to them, we have the safest city, one of the safest cities, big cities in America. And we have an obligation to keep our citizens as safe as possible. And Ray Kelly has really done a good job. You know, we're not going to agree with everything he does, but overall, 20 years ago, you were scared to walk around. I was scared to walk around. God forbid you go into Central Park after the sun went down. And now we all feel good. We can walk around any place. Whether you're walking around Harlem, whether you're walking around Bedford-Stuyvesant, I was there last week, I feel comfortable walking around.
Okay, so you was in Harlem with a bunch of Democrats,
yes,
which means you're planning on being a mayor of all the city.
All the city.
Everybody.
I was the only one that was there from any other party. And don't forget, I am a pro-business Republican because I believe the business community has to do well for the rest of the community to do well. I am a pro-business. I am a pro-safety in our streets Republican because I believe that we have to keep our streets safe, and we have that obligation to our citizens. But I'm also liberal.
Okay.
And you say, well, how are you a liberal? I believe our elderly that we have promised a good life to when they retire, they deserve that good life, and we should not try to take it away from them. We should not try to shortchange them. I believe in taking care of our kids who are getting shortchanged. Don't forget, Norman, I've been on the Police Athletic League board for 28 years with Mr. Morgenthau. Mm-hmm. We built that PAL Center on 119th Street. We built a PAL Center in the South Bronx. And we try to help kids because 40 years ago, Senator Moynihan, who was around, Daniel Moynihan, complained that 25% in our poorer neighborhoods of the families are single-family homes, and it's a tragedy.
That was a hell of a study he did in, what was that, in the 60s?
In the 60s. And now, Norman, it's up to 70%.
Yes.
And we have...
He called it an epidemic back then.
And it's worse now.
It's double.
Yeah. And I'm a person, I try to be a leader, I try to be tough, but I have a heart.
Okay.
And I believe that we have to help those kids. Our city, our country was number 3 in education, or number 2 in the whole world about 30 years ago, 35 years ago. Now we're number 36.
Yes.
Shame on us.
Yes.
Somebody 35 years ago decided that everybody should get an academic education. In theory, they were probably very well-meaning. But what happens? It doesn't work. Because everybody can't be a lawyer, a doctor, and an investment banker for Goldman Sachs. So I have proposed, and people are starting to embrace the fact that you have a choice. We're not going to push anybody. You want an academic career? You want to stay in it? Stay in it. We have a choice, though. Instead of dropping out and going to work for Burger King for $8 an hour, that we're going to teach you a trade. We're going to teach you how to become a carpenter, electrician, a plumber, so you can make $50,000, $60,000 a year.
Okay, well, we're going to go there. Let's start here. This is where we're going to start it.
Yeah.
Will you campaign, will you reach out to the black elected officials of color?
Absolutely.
When?
All the time.
When?
David Patterson was sitting right there last week.
Okay, but
Governor Patterson is a very good friend of mine.
Yes.
Congressman Charlie Rangel is a very good friend of mine. Me and Charlie went to Cuba together. We had built a Greek Orthodox church that Castro paid for in Havana. I'll show you the pictures.
Okay, no, I see you got a bunch of pictures.
Well, we were in Havana with Charlie in 2004, and then we went back again in 2006. I believe that if Billy Thompson is not the candidate in the Democratic Party, I believe I will get the black vote, because I'm one of you. Okay. Me and you, we grew up together. So, and I feel, I have feelings, and I want to help. And that 28 years that I'm doing that for Police Athletic League, who am I helping? I'm helping black and Hispanic.
Yes.
And
but I agree with that.
Yeah.
But now you have an ad up here.
Yes.
Did you put in the Daily News?
Tell me.
Speaking about basically naming the elected officials of color.
Oh, I named all. No. You know who I named?
There's a lot of them right here.
Absolutely. You know who I named?
Elected officials of color.
No. No. You see, you're prejudiced.
No. Let's hear it, John.
No, you're prejudiced.
Okay, well, you know why? Let's hear it.
Every one of those people listed on that column voted against the bill.
I was about to say
that was the purpose of the naming.
Okay, I was about to say that. But now what I'm saying is, what would you say if the people say, well, it make it look like people of color, when we hear O'Reilly, when we hear different people on the news, what would you say if someone said, well, it makes it look like elected officials of color embraces crime?
Well, let's flip that a little bit. Ray Kelly's policies in the last 11 years, the differential between the murder rate and the amount of people that we save lives of was 7,700 approximately in the last 11 years. 90% of them were black and Hispanic. We saved, because of the stop and frisk policy, we saved 7,000 lives.
No, actually, I got a thing here where Ray Kelly in 2000 said, did stop and frisk basically disenfranchise communities and alienate them with people of color? And that it really wasn't nothing proving that it worked in terms of stopping anything.
Well, let's take Chicago. You want to be downtown Chicago?
Nobody wants to be in
Chicago. Okay, thank you. We both agree.
Only person going there is Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
But now, he's getting an apartment out there.
He's a friend of mine.
Yes. But stop, question, and frisk.
Yeah.
Actually, there's no proof that it stops anything. Because if 90% of the people...
I will tell you what the black mothers and fathers have told me in Harlem. You know what they said to me? Thank you for keeping our kids safe.
And we want
the hoodlums, the hoodlums that own guns are so scared they're going to get caught and get 1 year prison sentences. They leave the guns home.
John.
And what I want to do...
Where did you get that from?
Huh?
Where did you get
the mothers and fathers?
Okay, but here's the difference. I work law enforcement.
Yes.
I'm in the jails.
Yes.
They're not leaving them home. My office is on
Well,
wait, hold
maybe not all of them, but a lot of them.
My office is on Nostrand and Fulton.
Yeah.
I am happy to have the police outside,
Mm-hmm.
standing there. The police, to a degree, is not bothering anybody. They just bothering the people riding the bike on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
They're not bothering. But I have a 24-year-old just got his master's. Have an 18-year-old going to college. But what I'm afraid of, but what I'm afraid of is every man of color as a father still have to worry about something. Did what happened when that young prejudiced cops if you talk to
those rookies need better training.
Yes, they do.
I agree with you.
See, that's 110%. The problem.
I agree.
And you brought your motivation from Long Island and everything else.
I agree with you.
You came out here.
We got to teach them better.
Yes.
Because, you can't just take them and throw them into a poor neighborhood and then give them a quotient of how many stop and frisk they have to do.
Yes. So now when you get them out there and they stop this car, this person, that person, and I work 3 to 11. So when I come home and I'm standing there watching that these officers went and they stopped one person after another, just stop them, search them, let them go.
It's wrong.
You can't keep doing it on certain nights. Friday. Okay.
Good police. You're preaching to the choir. It's wrong.
Good police.
You need good policemen that they can smell a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the rookies, they don't know the difference. That's the whole thing. Better training. But we're going to solve that problem. You know what I've been saying publicly? I've been saying, look, people go to airports and they have metal detectors.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to go and touch people where you just use a metal detector? I mean, people accept it at the airports. Wouldn't you accept it? Okay. Yeah. And number 2, there's new technology coming.
Yes.
There's a camera that from a distance, from 10 feet away, will be able to tell, and it's about a year away, maybe a year and a half, if you're carrying a weapon.
Yes, absolutely.
So, let's not give the streets back to the hoodlum. If we have to suffer for another year and a half or a year to make things better, but you know what I'm committed to, Norman?
What's that?
Make things better.
We're back at the office of Mayoral candidate John Catsimatidis. Our next subject, black unemployment.
Serious.
Very high.
Very high.
What is your plan?
We got to create more jobs. And it's part of an education program. It's part of an education program. And I'm going to give you an example of what happened to me about a year ago.
Okay.
We were opening up, or having a grand opening of a new store. And this 17 or 18-year-old kid comes up to me. Because I was standing in front of the store. Hey, man, I will get a job, man. Drive tour. He was wearing a hat backwards. He was having his underwear shown.
Problem with his
and he just looked like a mess. I said, look, there are jobs available. But if you went to the personnel office and you look like that, they're not going to hire you. You got to look, you live in New York, you got to look like New York. You want to dress the way you want to dress, do that in your own time. And do that, at home or with your friends. And I felt I mentored him.
Did he get it?
I think he got it. And what these kids need, all of them, they need mentors. They need, and it goes back to the problem we have, Norman, that single family homes. Kids need a mother and a father sometimes. And they need to be mentored. They need to have they need to have people feel that somebody cares. And part of my program, by the way, of wanting to be mayor, is I want to go to these neighborhoods and say to these kids, I grew up here, I made it, you can make it too.
Mm-hmm.
And they need inspiration. They need something to believe in.
As a mayor, where would you get that money from?
Oh, there's money there.
There's money for
if you spend $300 million on those stupid bicycle lanes, concrete monstrosities,
mm-hmm.
there's plenty of money. So
there's programs for male initiative program mentorship.
There is.
You'll be able to find it.
Yes, I will find the money.
Okay, so male initiative programs, we'll be able to find some money
to mentor the kids. Have big brothers, start a volunteer program on a per neighborhood, per kid basis.
Okay.
So there's somebody there that could give guidance to these kids, and that's what they need.
Is that going to be part of something that I'll catch on your website?
I think it'll be part of our education program.
Okay.
I was at Columbia University. They had a forum about education, and they wanted to talk about music and art. From the time I went to school to now, music and art went completely away.
Of course.
Physical education is going away, and the only thing these kids know how to do is physical education. They play the games.
Yes.
The other thing that I'm concerned about is that they have no place to go.
But we've been cutting the budget for years now. There's never been, with the surplus, we never put anything back.
We own those school buildings. Mm-hmm. Those school buildings should be more useful. We should have after-school programs. We should create an atmosphere of there's someplace for those kids to go and not just hang around a pizza shop.
Okay. I'm looking for these commitments on your website.
You have my commitment. I love kids, and I want to help them.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, I'm not a Johnny come lately, Norman.
I know
I've been doing it for 28 years. I've been in those streets doing that.
Okay.
And I was with Mr. Morgenthau, the head of NYCHA, 2 weeks ago on 125th Street, 124th Street, and we opened up 10 play streets in NYCHA centers.
Okay. NYCHA has a problem.
They have a big problem.
They have a lot of money, but they're not using it.
They're cooking the books, I think.
So do you think they got more money than what they're saying?
I think that it's not being allocated properly.
Well,
that's
a lot of jobs right there. With all the cameras they need put up, you can teach these kids how to put up cameras, and we could cut down on crime in the community, in the housing developments.
We have to solve the problem because poor people deserve to be safe too.
Okay.
And that's why I'm going to put those police officers in those 325 buildings.
You said one. Last time we talked, you said one.
325 buildings.
You need more than one.
24/7.
Yes.
4 police officers per building.
Okay.
Covered 24/7.
How many extra police would that be?
1,200 and something.
All right. So now we don't want to get caught. I talked to one of the mayor candidates, and I was upset at the fact that I asked her about Brownsville.
There's only one that's a her.
I said her, and the first thing came up was police. I asked about Mott Haven, and at least you were telling me about things to do, and we need to talk about jobs because we do want a safe community. But if our unemployment rate is the highest, do you believe in starting from the bottom up, which is the normal way, or do you believe in a trickle-down effect?
We have a lot of serious problems in jobs. I'll give you an example. It's not only in the poor neighborhoods, it's in every neighborhood. My daughter was graduating NYU last year, and I went to Yankee Stadium, and there was 15,000 kids on the field in Yankee Stadium. They were graduating. And I turned to the dean and I said to him, how many of these kids have jobs? Put his head down and says, well, not even half. So whether it's the underprivileged community or whether it's New York University, we got a jobs problem in our country.
What's the solution? You're a businessman. What's the solution?
Well, I'm the only one that's running for mayor that's created tens of thousands of jobs.
Yes.
I'm the only one that, I think I'm the only one that really has a real heart.
Because you're not a politician.
I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. I just want to serve my duty like an army sentence for 4 years or 8 years and then move on.
Okay.
And I think that's the way. I think successful people that have been successful, whether not necessarily business people, successful lawyers, successful accountants. You know, when you reach the age of 55, 60, maybe you should serve your town or community. And just serve it for 5 years, 6 years, and do the best jobs you can.
Okay.
We need more people like that to get involved.
Yes. So now, we have, in these areas, we have high incarceration. And when we've been filling up the jail system for the past 20-some years, and it hasn't slowed down crime that much.
No.
So now, alternative to incarceration, that we are spending about 30-some thousand to keep somebody in jail, and alternative to incarceration, if you don't have a violent crime.
Well, it gets even worse than that, Norman. When these people get out of jail and they don't have a job, what are you going to do?
That's the problem. So the alternative would be...
It becomes a vicious cycle.
So what about that job training that you talked about?
It's a vicious cycle.
What about the...
Well, I think there should be a job training, and I think there is some, but not enough.
With the alternative to incarceration, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Which is saying, okay, well, you could come in this program at $18,000, where it could cost the city, as opposed to housing someone for $30,000.
No, I don't disagree with you. I don't know if you realize that there's another program that, as an alternative to going to jail, to send you into the army. Mm-hmm. But that's like, the Foreign Legion.
We could have used a lot of them in the past few years with everything that we've had in the different wars. But now, are you willing to commit as a mayor that some of these alternatives, getting along with the DAs, that some of these alternatives might be something to look into?
I think it's very important. I'll tell you, one of my very good friends is a judge. His name is Judge Weinreb. Mm-hmm. Judge Weinreb used to have an office up here in the courthouse next to the precinct of 54th Street. And he had alternative sentences, where he gave the person an opportunity not to go to jail. And I think we should do more and more of that. But what do we do with the ones that are just bad?
Well, we got to lock them up and keep them there.
Yeah.
But we're not going to disagree that it's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
But we can save a great deal of money because we've been putting people in jail for a very long time.
Absolutely. And I also believe that that people that have marijuana for their own personal use, not that I'm pushing it, but we shouldn't put them in jail forever either.
Yeah, well, Chris Christie just said he embraces signing legislation for marijuana for medical use.
Yeah.
Just came over the wire a little while ago.
Well,
and
for medical use, I agree with. For personal use, that I don't think they should ruin your life and put you away forever if they catch you with something for personal use.
I agree.
But if you are a professional
that's a different story.
That's ruining our kids' lives, I'd like to put you away and never let you out.
Got a big question here. Subject that don't nobody talk about. Nobody talks about the poor, the working poor. People are being outpriced in New York City. How do you fight that?
It's a serious problem. It's a serious problem where it comes down to the cost of living in New York is getting higher and higher.
Yes. Rent too damn high. We talked about that.
I like that guy that said rent too damn high.
Yeah, I'm supposed to get him for you. Rent too damn high. Yeah.
It's a serious problem. What do we do? Well, I've committed to provide 150,000 low-income houses over the next 8 years, if I may. But I don't think it's enough. And you know, we go. I think we have to provide middle income housing too. And the way we do this is create incentives to business people. You know, Norman, we own the sky, right?
Yeah.
So I believe in transit-oriented development. What does that mean? If there's a subway station right here, you know, the whole subway system we have will cost $1 trillion to duplicate.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a subway station right here, we should upzone that whole area around that subway station because it provides transportation to every part of our city.
Yes.
If we allow business people, if it's zoned for 6-story buildings and allow them to build 12, what's wrong with that? And nobody ever says that. We say we'll allow you to build a 12-story business, but we want you to provide low income, middle income, and the top 10 floors where you have a good view. Market rate.
Okay, well, the Ratner Group, for example, the Barclays Center, made promises to the city.
Yes.
Didn't fulfill some of the promises today.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, I am committed
Okay.
to create a zoning policy around our transit system and allow and give incentives to builders to take money out of their pockets, put it on the table, and do it. And incentivize them by giving them, whether it's tax breaks for new development, whether it's giving them more floors. And we're going to do what we call, you know, we have the 80-20 program.
Yes.
We're going to do a 60-20-20. 60 regular income, 20 and 20.
Okay.
Now, what happens? I also have a program where we're going to allow our teachers. It's in the system now, and nobody uses it. Our teachers, to get better teachers for our kids, they'll be able to have a middle-income apartment if they work for the city or they're a city teacher. And you know what's going to happen? Instead of leaving after 4 years, they're going to stay longer.
Yeah.
Because they have and you know what else I want?
So are you saying, can we classify that as a regulated apartment for city teachers? Because they have it for the chancellor. The chancellor gets his own apartment at a low rate. He gets a big one.
Yeah.
For low rate.
Yes.
So you're proposing that for teachers?
I propose that for teachers, and it's already in the system.
But what about police officers and
I'm proposing that for that too. Instead of living in Rockland County or Westchester County or Nassau, Suffolk, wouldn't you feel better if you were, a guy on the 10th floor and there was a cop on the 12th floor?
Yes.
I would feel better too.
Okay, so now.
So we are in agreement again.
So I should be getting an email from Rob.
Yes.
With that statement tomorrow that you're going to propose that.
Yes.
Or you want to wait till Monday? Monday might be a better day.
Monday's a better day because I'm not sure Rob is working tomorrow.
All right. So we're going to have a statement saying that you propose for the
60-20-20, build higher transit-oriented development and make apartments available to our public servants as part of their remuneration.
At a lower rate.
At a middle income rate, yes.
And that's for teachers, police, correction. Got to put corrections in there.
I'm not sure about correction.
You got to put us in there. Police, teachers, correction, fire department.
No, we'll talk about corrections.
No, be great. We got to talk. We got to put corrections
in there.
All right. So now, tell me something. What do you think is a good minimum wage salary?
Oh, we got a problem.
Okay.
We got a problem. And I've talked to our state legislatures, the leadership of our state legislature. If you're 16 years old, you could live, whatever, 7.25, 7.5, 8, because you're living at home.
Yes.
But once you're 22, 23 years old and you want to have your own family, you can't live on $7 an hour, 7.25, 7.50.
So what do you think?
I think you need a minimum wage for, if you're over 22 years old age or 23 years of age. It's a negotiation amongst our politicians.
Okay.
I think you need a minimum of $11.
$11.
A minimum.
Okay. All right.
We agree on that too.
We can agree that We can be
You
flexible.
can't make a living. You can't
You
make
deal with
a
unions
living.
at your restaurant.
Pay the rent, pay the electric bill
Mhm.
if you make less.
Yes, you can't live in New York.
You can't live
There's
in
not too many places to live
No.
in New York City with $7 an hour.
It's a problem.
Okay. So now, we can agree on that salary. I'm gonna say something to you.
And that's just an estimate.
Okay.
We're just talking on a Friday afternoon.
Labor. We're gonna close it out with labor unions and raises.
Labor unions and what?
Raises. They're raises.
I think Bloomberg was wrong, and I've said this publicly, that he has all those contracts just laying around and has done nothing. I think at a minimum, if I was mayor in his position and didn't feel like negotiating, I would have thrown in 1% just to throw it in and say, guys, that's what it is and that's all we got. Because he could have lived with 1%.
Mhm.
And people wouldn't vote.
1% a year.
Yeah. Yes.
And for some unions, it's out 3 years, 4 years.
So it's
4%.
over 4 years.
Yeah.
Instead of having nothing.
Mhm.
I think that would have been a fair thing to do. Because I think the city could have handled it.
Okay, so right now,
Well, are we in agreement with that? No.
so far, yes, right now, the economy is not doing bad.
It's starting to do
market.
better.
Mhm.
New York has recovered. The stock market is doing well. The real estate market is doing well.
Yes. And I'm
But
gonna
unfortunately, people are not doing well.
no. And why is it?
And well, part of the problem is Washington.
Mhm.
Okay? Well, part of our problem is Washington.
Congress.
Because we got a situation in Washington where the Republicans and the Democrats are at each other's throats.
Mhm.
And they can't sit down and make a deal. You go back to the 80s, Ronald Reagan didn't like Tip O'Neill.
Yes.
But as Americans, they sat down and made a deal. Bill Clinton didn't like Newt Gingrich. But as Americans, they sat down and made a deal. You know what we got now?
People too far.
Deadlock.
Yes.
We're deadlocked.
On everything.
On everything. And I got to blame President Obama a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you the reason why.
Let's hear it.
I've met him.
Mhm.
I've had cocktail parties in my apartment for him, and I'll show you the pictures.
Mhm.
He wasn't experienced enough to become president at that particular time. He didn't have that experience to be able to rub shoulders with both sides. See, I got that in New York.
Okay. Well, they
I don't care about being a Republican. I don't care about being a Democrat. I care about being a real New Yorker.
Well, I just think in that scenario, the Republicans went so far to the right. George Bush would
I
be
agree
in
with you with that
George
too.
Bush would be considered in the center, and Ronald Reagan would be a Democrat.
I agree with you that too. And John Kennedy would be a Republican.
Things have changed.
Remember those words? Ask not for what your country do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Yes. Doesn't apply.
The Democratic Party, today's Democratic Party would run him out of town.
Partisan politics at the highest.
We need to come together as a people,
Mhm.
and we need to come together as a country.
Mhm.
And I'm going to do that in a city because I'm capable of doing that with Democrats and Republicans.
All right. I want to see you with leadership of color. And
I'll be there, and I hope you're there helping me.
Of course, I'll be there.
Thank you.
Thank you. John Catsimatidis, candidate for mayor, New York City. We're out. OTS Network.